come to order. Today is Wednesday, May 4th, 2022, regular school board meeting. At this time, the invocation and pledge of allegiance will be done by Ms. Marion Petita. Please stand and remain standing.
God, as this school year comes to a close, we come to you grateful for every sunset and thankful for every sunrise, because each day on this earth is a blessing. Watch over us and shower us with your love. Turn our pain into power, our fears into focus, and our difficulties into determination. Remind us that when we put you at the center of everything we do, nothing is impossible. We ask all of this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Madden? Ms. Bell?
Here.
Ms. Thomas?
Here.
Ms. Petita?
Here.
Mr. Rudery? Here. Dr. Guillaume? Here. Ms. Bourgeois?
Here.
Mr. Duca? Here. Mr. Schwest? Here. Mr. Flazon? Here. Mr. Blanis? Mr. Lafont? Here. Mr. Orchard? Here. Mr. Bernard? Here. Mr. Adams?
Here. Ready to go. Listen, before we get started, I'd ask the board, just as a brief reminder, whenever any one of us wants to make a comment, question, or anything else, please raise your hand. I will recognize you. That way we won't talk over anybody. We'll keep it professional as we can. And hopefully I'll recognize you in the order in which you raise your hand. And if I don't, Mr. Peter will kick me under the table. Okay. So with that said, let's start with number 2 to introduce the newly appointed board member representing District 15. This is Mr. Harold Adams. Mr. Adams is taking Christy Chaubert's place, who has moved out of District 15. He will serve in an interim position. He brings knowledge of the operations of the school board, as he has served in that position previously, in that interim position a couple of years ago, if I remember correctly. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, letter B, under number 2, Lafourche Parish School District recognizing students, staff, and groups. Mr. Giddey.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Welcome, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you for that warm welcome. Okay, I get the pleasure of welcoming you guys to our monthly recognition awards program. And what we do is we carve out a little portion of our meeting to recognize students, staff, and community members that contribute to Lafourche Parish Public Schools, making it the best district in the state. Okay, so with that, I'll turn it over to Mr. Martin, and he'll give you a little welcome, and then we'll get started. Okay.
This is going to be a short welcome. Thank y'all for being here. I'm going to get you out as fast as possible, but we definitely wanted to take this opportunity to pull you up here so we can recognize the great things happening in Lafourche Parish. And from one parent to another, I know that their success wouldn't happen without the support that you give them. So thank you so much for what you do for your kids. And the proof is right here in front of us. So let's get started.
All right, I have this first student recognition. This student placed first in the individual economics project at the regional and state social studies project. Golly, I'm losing my mind again. The social studies fair. Mr. John Ryan Danos from North LaRose Elementary.
Congratulations, young man. Put this around your neck here. All right, turn around from cameras.
Very good.
Good job.
Next, we have some recognitions for 4-H. This first student placed first at the state and regional competitions from Lockport Middle School, Ms. Tony Ormel. next student also placed first at both state and regional competitions from Lockport Middle School, Madeline Fosa. Next student scored a first place and overall grand champion at regional competition from Lockport Middle School, Matthew Reshore.
You look familiar.
This next student placed third at the regional competition from Lockport Middle School, Blakely Falgood. This next student scored a third place at the regional competition from Lockport Middle School, Cade Reshore. This student was the 4-H Club Parish champion, placed first at the state competition, and was also selected to the 21-22 Louisiana State 4-H Citizens Board from Central Lafourche High School, Kristen Reshore.
Once or twice.
This next student placed first in the district competition of the literary rally contest in the subject of Ag 3 from Central Lafourche High School, Lana Verdon. This next student, also at Literary Rally, placed first in the district and the state competition for Ag 1 from Thibodeau High School, Skylar Morris. Next, we will recognize a student who was selected as the overall fan favorite for indoor percussion and also scored a first place gold medal in the snare drum competition. From Thibodeau High School, Dawson Green.
I wish you'd brought the drums.
Next, we will recognize a student who achieved the high point score in the state's Environmental and Natural Resources Career Development event. From Central Lafourche High School, Christopher Olds. Next, we will recognize a student who represented Bassmasters on his high school All-American fishing team. This student was one of 12 from across the entire country to be granted this honor. From Thibodeau High School, Levi Thibodeau.
Levi couldn't be here tonight because he's fishing a tournament in Texas and he's currently in second place.
Next, we're going to have some group recognitions. In this group, this partnership was the Lafourche Bassmasters team who won the Louisiana State Trail Championship for Louisiana High School Bass Fishing Organization. From Thibodeau High School, Mr. Levi Thibodeau and Jace Andrews.
Hold this here. That's some short.
So,
For the record, as a kid, I was never called to the school board office, but if they'd have been bass fishing, I just might.
We would like to recognize the following students who placed first at the Regional Social Studies Fair in the history category: Elijah Griffin, Ella Grace Griffin, and Therese Dominic from North LaRose Elementary.
God, oh, it's over here too. There we go.
I think this is
Perfect.
Okay, that's good. Yes.
And then this one.
Oh.
It's okay. She wants one more picture.
She was.
Perfect.
This next team that we're going to recognize placed second in the South Louisiana Quiz Bowl tournament and will be competing at the National Championships on Memorial Day weekend. This is the team from Golden Meadow Middle School, and I'm going to go ahead and read all 10 names at this time. James Billiot, Josh Gidry, and you can come on up when we call your name. Wes Gidry, Tommy Verdon, 7th graders Herman Gidry, Mackenzie Hebert, and Phoebe Hillman, and 6th graders Porter Buzigar, Gunnar Fellaris, and Sebastian Sanamo.
Good job, boys.
Next, we recognize a pair student that as a group placed first at the Louisiana State Social Studies Fair in the History Group Division. From LaRose Cutoff Middle School, we have Michaela Bienvenu and Noah Smith.
Okay, here are your medals in here. Sock outside for a picture. You're okay. Good job, kids.
Next, we're going to recognize some students who competed in FFA competitions. These students placed first in the Area 4 competition for poultry judging. These are all from Lafourche Middle School. Anthony Plazon, Madeline Fossum, Zaley Falgu, and Blakely Falgu.
Good job.
This next group of students placed first in the Area 4 Career Development event for poultry judging. These are all from Central Lafourche High School. Tyra Keller, Layla Keller, Braylon Rodriguez, and Clay Petrie.
I'm going to give you some medals to Mrs. Trish. She's going to have them. Good job.
This next group of students placed second in the Area 4 Career Development event for Milk Quality and Products team. Again, from Central Lafourche High School, we have Gracie Foray, Molly Boudreau, Gage Vargas, Jaden Porsche, and Trey Martinez. This group placed third in the Area 4 Career Development event for Nursery Landscape. Again, Central Lafourche High School. Christopher Olds, Jada Phillips, Autumn Email, and Nate Bellinger.
Great job, team. Great job.
This next group placed third in the State Environmental and Natural Resources Career Development event. Christopher Olds, Myra Leday, Victoria Tadero, Jude Olivier, Oliva, thank you, and Trey Martinez.
Great job.
This next group of students also placed for FFA. These students are from Thibodeau High School. This group placed fourth in the Southeast Louisiana Area Contest for Floriculture. Natalie Barnes, Riley Revere, Cohen Cunningham, and Mariah Hayes. This group placed second in the Southeast Louisiana Area Contest and second place in the state competition for Debt Science. Sophie Noblock, Claire Clement, Skylar Morris, and Ellie Email. This group placed second in Southeast Louisiana Area Contest for Meat Evaluation. Carson Hotard, Charles Clement, Kamari Dunbar, and Bob Bourgeois. And our final recognition this evening, second place in Southeast Louisiana Area Contest, Poultry. Brooke Landry, Hayden Molizon, Braden Tabor, and Meadow Foss.
Okay, that concludes tonight's awards program. I want to thank all of you for being here and taking this moment to celebrate the accomplishments of so many fantastic kids. Please drive safely if you're leaving. Otherwise, you're in for a really exciting board meeting if you want to sit and watch the agenda. Thank y'all so much for being here, and thank you for what you do for your kids and our kids every day. Thank y'all.
It's really good for us to recognize.
We have one.
But also like
I have messages to read.
chosen as one of the top 3 Louisiana outstanding science teachers. Thank you. All right, Connie, you'll be congratulations. All right, number 3, approval of board consent agendas. I'll read all of these and then ask for them. A, approval of board consent agenda items. B, minutes of regular board meeting held April 6, 2022. C, minutes of special board meeting held on April 19, 2022. Do I have a motion? Do I have a motion? Mr. Plaisance, do I have a second? Mr. Schultz. Any comments by the board? Comments from the public?
I have a question. I emailed you and Mr. Schwess. Am I going to be allowed to speak this evening?
That is not germane to this particular item. If you have a problem, then we'll be happy to discuss that at a later time. This is not part of the agenda.
No, I
So we
understand.
appreciate
That's
you
what I was
being
asking,
here
is if
tonight.
I was going to be allowed to speak this evening.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
you.
Okay, with that said, we have a motion, we have a second. Any comment from the board, public, let's vote, please. Thank you. All right, number 4, approval of advisory committee recommendations as per meeting held Monday, May 2nd, 2022. To approve the cooperative endeavor agreement with the state of Louisiana for the 2022 fiscal year, which authorized the Lafourche Parish School Board to collect the appropriation approved by the 2021 Louisiana legislature and to authorize Superintendent Morton to sign all related documents. Do I have a motion to that effect? Do I have a second? Mrs. Tita. Any comments at this time from the board? Any comments from the public? Not. Let's turn it over to, seeing as how we do have comments, I'd like Mr. Barnby to explain for the public and for the board exactly what that is.
Yes, sir. Lafourche Parish was involved in a suit some years ago regarding the mineral rights to the Lake Rockacy region. This is part of that settlement. This gives you $1,013,961 of the exactly twice that, which is owed to the Lafourche Parish school system. And this cooperative endeavor will hopefully be repeated next year because it is my understanding that in this legislative session, the remaining half, which is another $1,013,961, is also being authorized for payment to the school. So this is the first step to getting completely refunded exactly one half what is owed to the school board from the state of Louisiana.
So 21 and 22, then another resolution could be forthcoming asking for the additional monies. Is that correct? That's correct. And are we emailing, are we looking for that as far as the budget for teacher salaries and things of that nature? Is that correct?
That is exactly right. The money doesn't come to us in the form of a check, it comes to us in the form of a reimbursement. So exactly $1 million, the exact amount that's on this document is going to be tied to payroll in August payroll, and we're going to seek reimbursement for that payroll as we reimburse.
Any other comments from the board? Mr. Wilson?
Just a question. Were those the lawsuits involving underpayment of royalties due to the school board?
Yes, I recall.
Yes, that's the 16th section.
16th section.
Any other comments? Mr. Plaisance?
Thank you, Mr. President. Didn't they pay us a little already? I think like 600, I'd say a little, 600,000 already.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So
So-
this represents the larger of the payments. I believe the original settlement called for like around $3 million, just under that. So we've got 600, now you're going to get $1 million, now you're going to get another $1 million, and then we'll be paid in full. And I believe that the state being in a budget surplus this year, having one-time funding available made sense, and we have Representative Jerome Zizarang working to get this done for us. So probably worth this board's time if you like me to craft a letter of thanks because and the other representatives that made this happen.
Thank you, Ms. Plaisance. Any other comments from the members of the board? Any comments from the public concerning this particular, not this book? Okay, let's establish and define the Lafourche Parish School Board 2021 election districts in accordance with federal and state statutes. Do I have a motion for that? Do I have a second? Without any board comments? Let's talk a little bit about this. Mr. Martin, I see Mr. Josh Manning is here as well. We'd like to come, sir, and maybe explain a little bit more detail with this.
Yes, sir, thank you. This is the redistricting plan. It's the same exact plan that you guys voted to approve a couple of months ago. The difference being that now it's gone before the council. The council has approved it on their side, and they also voted to approve the new voting precincts. They did that at the meeting last week. What this is a resolution reaffirming that same plan, but using the new voting precincts, and that has to happen so that the Secretary of State's office can approve the plan.
Any questions for Mr. Mr. Adams?
When will it be made public?
It's public now. It's available on our website. We can provide it to the school board as well. I was talking to Ms. Martinez earlier about providing it and giving you guys a little piece of code so you can put it on the school board's website in the same way that we have the school enrollment zones, so that people can zoom in and out and see exactly where the district boundaries are at.
Any other comments?
Just want to ask, can you put a map,
Yes.
map like you had given us of
Yes.
our district?
Yes, that's coming. I was just kind of waiting to get through
Yes.
all of the official approvals and whatnot, and once that's done, we'll give you a nice copies here that they can have at the school board office. That'll be here for the next 10 years until things will change again, and then each member will get your own map as well.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sure.
And Mr. Manning, those districts will track the council districts, correct?
That's correct.
And in the reduction in size of this board to 9.
Yes, sir.
Any other comments about the? Let me make this comment. With this particular resolution, there is defined in detail what those boundaries are. I've asked Mr. Martin to print, not in specific detail, but the perimeters in the comment, so that not only those that are not looking at Facebook can also look at the comment and get an idea of where those perimeters go. And you said you would do that. Is that correct? Yes. So if you pull up the resolution, in the resolution, a detailed outline of each precinct and each district in this. Okay? And let me do this before we go on. This has been quite an ordeal. In fact, it started July 1st, 2021. And before we get out of this, I would like to recommend or recognize the steering committee, which is headed up for the school board by Mr. Peter. Mr. Plazos was part of that, Mr. Thomas was part of that, Mr. Babin was part of that, and I was on the co-chair of that as well. Okay, so, July 1st, December 1st, we approved the redistricting map, and every one of these board members had the opportunity to talk to the South Coast Planning concerning their particular concerns. January 5th, we adopted the resolution, and now May 4th is the final stage. So thank you very much. It was well organized, well done, and every one of our members got the opportunity, the members that were sitting here at the time, to express their concerns and what they felt was correct. Any other comments?
I just want to, since you're recognizing people, I'd like to recognize Mr. Ronald Perry, who was a board member who really was instrumental in bringing this to the board and working very diligently with legislators and all, way back when we started with this. So he has since retired. Well, he moved out of district also, but I just would like to express how thankful we are to Mr. Perry for making this in this moment.
Any other comments? Board, any comments for the public? Let's vote, please. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let us move on to the memorial
Thank you, Mr. President. Ms. Merlene Jesclair was hired by the Lafourche Parish School District on February 3rd, 1986 as a school secretary at North LaRose Elementary School. Ms. Jesclair retired on June 19, 2015, having served the Lafourche Parish School District for a total of 29.5 years. I move to accept this resolution.
That's all right, Mrs. Paul, we'll do that after the info.
Okay.
Thank you. Ms. Merle Jones? I'm
I'd like to
sorry.
make a comment.
Yes.
I had the honor and privilege of working with Ms. Marlene that worked for, it was LaRose Lower at that time. She was the face of the school. As you can see, that was the only school that she was a secretary for 29 and a half years. A wonderful lady, and she'll be definitely missed by her mom and her husband.
Thank you. Any other comments?
President Tomei, I'd
Mr.
like
Archie.
to also reiterate what Mr. Bourgeois said. We had the pleasure of knowing Ms. Merlene for a long time, and her family as well, and she leaves behind Mr. Sherman, who's the husband and mom. Son's passed away some years ago, and he's also instructor of the parish. Great person, kids love him, she did school very well. Thank you.
Any other comments? Ms. Merrill Jones, retired professional school counselor, Mr. Dufresne.
Ms. Merrill Jones was hired by the Lafourche Parish School District on August 3rd, 1984, as a teacher at Central Lafourche High School. She was promoted to professional school counselor at Central Lafourche High School on January 4th, 1988. Ms. Jones retired on June 10th, 2008, having served the Lafourche Parish School District for a total of 24 years.
Thank you. Any comments by the members? Like I said, Mr. Ronald Plaisance, Mr. Ronald Plaisance, is Ronald. Was hired by the Lafourche Parish School District on August 25th, 1969 as a teacher at the Rose Cutoff Elementary. He resigned his position on October 26, 1990. Mr. Plaisance was rehired as a teacher at La Rose Upper Elementary School on August 16, 1991. Mr. Plaisance retired on May 22, 2000, having served the Lafourche Parish School District for a total of 30 years. I asked to read this because as an administrator, I was lucky enough to have Mr. Plaisance for 11 years. He was a good teacher, well respected by his students and by his fellow peers. In addition to that, as an administrator, we had 30 teachers, 2 men. So Ronald was always there to discuss New Orleans Saints football plays. So I appreciated Ronald. Ronald's a good man, who would be missed by his family.
I'd like to add that.
I'm sorry, yes, sir.
Okay, I had a unique situation with Mr. Plaisance. I was that first class that Ronald taught in 6th grade. And I had the pleasure of serving on the senior faculty with Ronald later on in my career. Ronald was an upstanding guy, heck of a baseball player too. You know, but the one thing I remember with Ronald was his calm demeanor all the way through everything. He was just a nice guy to talk to, very knowledgeable, but just a homegrown kid. And I always appreciated Mr. Ronald and the way he treated students and the way he treated all of the constituents. So he will be missed.
Well said. Ronald's thing was, I always told him, tell me what to do, we'll do it. He always did a good job. Okay, with that said, Mrs. Laura Lee Gautreaux, Mr. Plaisance.
Ms. Laura Lee Gautreaux was hired by the Lafourche Parish School District on September 5th, 1950, as a teacher at Golden Meadow High School. Ms. Gautreaux also taught at Lockport High Elementary School and Lockport Upper Elementary School. Ms. Gautreaux retired on May 31st, 1984, having served the Lafourche Parish School District for a total of 33 years.
Any comments?
If not, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the board, I move that these resolutions be adopted by general consent and that a copy of these resolutions be recorded on a special page of our meeting book.
No objections? Let the record reflect that these resolutions were adopted by general consent and will be recorded on a special page. Thank you. All right. With that said, number 7 is the superintendent's update. to receive an update from Superintendent Martin on the current operations of the district. We do not require a motion at this time. Floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. For my report today, I'll tell you that our team of architects that have been hired for Ida recovery are largely still in the design phase. We were able to accept the one bid that we received for the South Lafourche High School roofing project. So that project will be beginning very, very short onshore construction. And as a reminder, that roofing project also includes the gymnasiums. So we'll be sealing up the envelope, and we are attempting to get the competition gym up and running for basketball season next year at South Lafourche High School. So we're really looking forward to that project coming to close. But the overwhelming majority of our schools are still in design phase. Right? So there's a lot of interior work and a lot of floors and a lot of ceiling tiles that are still not repaired, and that's certainly frustrating to members of the community. But what we all have to keep in mind is that until the professionals of record, the architect, are complete with these designs and we go out to bid, we simply can't make those repairs and stay FEMA compliant. So I just ask everyone to stay patient during this process because it's going to be a long one. We're working closely with All South also to assist us with getting these bids out to contractors across the nation. What we're experiencing is that there is a lack of available contractors that have the bonding capacity to do the work that we're asking them to do. There were probably a half dozen or so contractors in this region that could take on jobs as big as the roof at South Lafourche, as an example. And our traditional means of advertising these jobs aren't getting the bids that we need in return. So what are we doing? We're going to be bidding in the same way that we always have been, but we're going to try to reach out to vendors that we've never reached out to and potentially use platforms outside of what we've typically used to seek bidders. Going back to the South Lafourche roof, we had 33 contractors look at it. We had 6 contractors show up to the pre-bid meeting, 1 bid. Unacceptable. Well, we need to get 5 and 6, 7 bids on this work, but to do that, we're going to have to rattle the pages of contractors in places like Minnesota that may be able to do this work, and maybe with all of the work that we have available, when they see the totality of the jobs that are available, they may shift their operations this way to support us and make it profitable for them. So we're attempting to navigate that right now, and All South is doing a good job in helping us with it. Shifting gears to the grant management side and FEMA reimbursements. The initial 100% reimbursements, and when I say 100%, so until October, all of the costs associated with FEMA are 100% reimbursable, not 90. So we submitted that package to FEMA through GOSEP. It's working its way through, and we're optimistic that we'll receive those funds, roughly $34 million, in the next 3 to 4 months. But I was told by the All South team that's probably optimistic, and that it may be as long as 5 to 6 months from today. So it could be Christmas before we receive the initial payment from FEMA. We anticipated that. That's why we got the bond, the hurricane loan, and we'll be able to make it until then. It's very frustrating because the numbers seem to be moving to the right on the timeline already. Our employees, though, will be receiving their stipend this month. That's going to hit their bank accounts on the 25th. And as a reminder, that's $1,500 for certificated folks and $750 for our support employees. That's going to be a one-time payment that I know everybody certainly is looking forward to and deserves. HR is busy conducting transfers and approving new hires for the upcoming school year. Additionally, we're preparing for our annual Summer Academy. We have over 1,700 students signed up for this year's Summer Academy. That is higher than last year's number, and enrollment is still open. So we are excited about summer school, and we hope that many of our families take us up on this opportunity to have a free and engaging summer camp that includes athletics, arts, and all things that are fun for kids, but also, I like to say, sneak in that math and English so that we can prepare kids for that next year, because we know that they can use it. And last, as you know, it's graduation season. It's a wonderful time of year. Graduations are the reason why I left the middle school to go work at a high school, because for, a long time, you're just a hamster on a wheel and you never see the finish line. And as a high school principal, I was able to see the culmination of it. So I know you're all looking forward to high school graduations. Those dates are for Thibodeau High School, Tuesday, May 24th at 6 p.m. at the Harangue Auditorium. Central Lafourche, Tuesday, May 31st, so that's the following week, at 7 p.m. at the Harangue Auditorium. The Virtual Academy Val will be Friday, June 3rd at Thibodeau High School's auditorium. And South Lafourche is going to be June 9th, the latest that they've ever had a graduation at South Lafourche, but it's going to be a beautiful one out there in the stadium. It is scheduled for Thursday, June 9th, 7 p.m. at their stadium. And if weather impacts it, it's just going to move one day until we can knock this thing out. But if you know Miss Sherry, it's going to take more than just a little rain to reschedule. It's going to have to be adapted. With that, I'll answer any questions of the board. Mr. Trooper.
I just want to clarify, the stipends that we voted on, I believe were 2,000 and 1,000.
Did I misspeak? What did I say? I'm so
15.
glad I misspoke in the wrong
I just want to
direction. Yes, I'm so glad I misspoke in the wrong direction, yes.
To restate?
Yeah, the state is 15, it's 2,000 and 1,000. Thank you for correcting.
Very, very good, Mr. Now I would be this is Beth.
Can you go ahead and tell us what time about graduation is going to be scheduled for? Do you have time for that yet?
6 p.m.
Thank you.
6 p.m., yes, ma'am.
Mr. Martin, I know that, it seems like a little bit of a stipend, for 1,000 and 2,000, but we know, do you have the total amount that it's going to cost in Lafourche Parish that we need to put up for all the employees? Sorry, please.
No, you did, and I used to have this number. It's obviously in the millions. I think it's $3.2 million that it's going to cost. Don't hold it to that number. It's around there, right? So you've got 1,000 teachers. A $1,000 payment to 1,000 teachers is $1 million. And we're doing 2, so it's twice that just for the teachers. That does not include the required additional costs associated when you pay an employee an amount of money. So you have to add approximately 30% to that number to pay for the retirement and other benefits that are associated with that number. And when you look at the support staff, being half that, that's why 3.2 really sounds like it's the right number, Mr. Rainey, but I'll get you the exact number.
I'm good. Yeah, it was higher there and everything.
It is. It's an expensive. It's a very expensive endeavor. And what we did, we looked at how much money we had not budgeted with the CARES money that was available to us, and made paying our employees a priority, because right now our employees are the priority moving forward. Without them, we're not going to be successful.
Good question.
Mr. Martin, on our conversation from this afternoon, I want to thank the school district for reaching out and helping South Lafourche High School prepare for their playoff series with South Terrebonne. I understand with the help of Grand Isle Shipyard, the visitor stands have been prepared as they were before storm, and so South Lafourche is where they were before the storm. So I want to thank you all and thank Grand Isle Shipyard for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Are you through, Mr.?
Yes.
Dr. Green.
So with Mr. Henry, we talking about the football stadium or the baseball stadium?
Baseball.
Okay, because I didn't realize they had made the playoffs. So my question shifts back to the gym. So the goal is to have it ready for basketball season. And y'all have a plan for the volleyball team. And then what's the update on Golden Meadow, not Golden Meadow, I'm sorry, Rose Cutoff, middle school gym?
Very good questions. I'm going to go back to South Lafourche High School and answer your questions sort of in order. The latest we want to have the gym is October 1. Our goal is to have it August 1. We do have a plan for volleyball, but we're hoping to get them in that gym as soon as possible. The problem is not going to be material as much as it's going to be getting the pupil mobilized to get in that position. That's what the contractors are telling us. The Rose Cutoff Middle School, exact same plan, exact same timeline, different contractor, different architect. So both of those schools' gymnasiums are pivotal to the fall season sports in that area. We're very thankful that the parish let us use the Lafourche recreational district, but we don't want to go back. We want to have our kids in their region because the distance they were having to travel was impacting them. So the Rose Cutoff Middle School's gym, South Lafourche High School's competition gyms are both priorities, and we make both of those gyms part of the roof package. So what we did as a district is we prioritized rules and envelopes to go out for design and bid first, but for those two schools, we included the gymnasiums as part of that package.
So the Rose Cutoff roof project is also in the same status as the South Lafourche one, or is it a little behind?
It's actually ahead.
It's ahead.
It's ahead. Mr. Skipper Holloway's team was actually able to get the Rose Cutoff out to market before South Lafourche's went out to market. So the Rose is likely going to be finished, potentially, if common sense and reason hold, before South Lafourche. But you know how these things are, materials and labor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Any other comments?
Mr. President.
Ms. Blaze.
Mr. President, where we at with the rest, all the rest of the athletic fields? I know we had a conversation about this a couple weeks ago. Central South, Thibodeau, baseball, softball, I mean, complexes are pretty rough, so.
They are, and to piggyback off of what Mr. Lafourche said, you know, we had South Lafourche High School's baseball field up and running, but we weren't prepared for what's about to happen tomorrow night, which is South Lafourche hosting a quarterfinals against South Terrebonne, which is 18 minutes along the Cromwell Road away. So there's probably going to be 2,000 people at that game. So what we did is we got GIS to come in, and they were able to hit the ground running that day, fix those bleachers, get them up and running, clear out some of the remaining debris. But to answer your broader question, I called NY Associates, who are the professionals of record for South Lafourche and Central Lafourche, to see where they are. They are going to be finishing the design phase of the football complexes for both Central and South Lafourche this month. And they guarantee that the softball, baseball complexes will be done by next month. And by done, I mean the design phase is done and then out to bid. Our goal is to have the press boxes, the stadiums, and everything ready for football season. And the same timeline holds for Thibodeau High School. The professional record there is Mr. Andy Positeri. I spoke to Mr. Positeri last week and said that we need those designs. We expect him to be finished with those designs within the next 2 weeks, so that we can get those out to market and get those done as soon as possible. The designs for these things, as a reminder to the board, I know you all know this, but it's not a single page draft of what needs to be done. It's a multi-page document with many layers of both civil, mechanical, electrical, and architectural work that has to be done for the fences, the grounds, and everything. So I was frustrated with the timelines that they were giving me, but when I saw what they were building, it started to make sense.
Okay. Any other questions? That's it? Okay. If there's any way, that was an excellent report, that if you have a copy of that possibly we could send it to the board members, so things that we left forgot that possibly we discuss. Let me also make a brief comment concerning graduations, if possible. We'd definitely like you to attend the graduation, the high school graduation in your particular district, if possible. And even more possible if you could attend all three and the virtual academy as well. I know Mr. Archie did that, I know Mr. Madden did that, and a few others that they have done that. But for sure, if the possibility is there for you to attend the high school graduation in your particular district, that would go a long way into showing the community the support that we get. Okay. Any other comments? All right, let's move on to item 8, tentative dates of future meetings. A, Policy and Procedure Committee, Tuesday, May 17, 2022. Transportation Committee, Tuesday, May 17, 2022. Land and Facility Management Committee, Tuesday, May 17, 2022. And just from Mr. Martin's report, they'll have a lot on their plate as far as work timelines and things of that nature. Insurance Committee, Wednesday, May 18, 2022. Finance Committee, Wednesday, May 18, 2022. Academic Committee, Wednesday, May 18, 2022. Advisory Committee, Monday, May 30, 2022. And Ms. Bourgeois made the Advisory Committee aware that that's on Memorial Day. And unfortunately, we can't have it on that particular day, and it doesn't look like we'll be able to have it on that Tuesday because that would appear to be the Central Lafourche High School graduation as well. So there's a good chance that advisory will probably be canceled for regular board meeting is Wednesday, June 1st, 2020. And the comments by okay, let's look at number 9. Consider going into the executive session pursuant to the provisions of the Louisiana Revised Statute 4217:7 for the following purpose: to consider the findings of the superintendent regarding an expulsion appeal pursuant to the Lafourche Parish School Board Policy JDE. Do I have a motion to that effect? Mr. Dupree, do I have a second? All right, comments from the board. Let me make this particular comment. Once we go into executive session, if it is approved by the members through a vote, all members of the public and the staff will need to exit the boardroom during the executive session. Only board, superintendent, designated staff in this particular case would be our child welfare and attendance individuals. Any attorneys and any guardian of the students will be, or student will be allowed to be in the board. Any questions to that? With that said, we have a motion, we have a second. Is there any comments other than what I just said by the board? Any comments from the public before we vote? That said, let's vote, please. Okay, that's unanimous, and at this time we ask the public to leave, and we'll take the time in once we get ready to start. We're going to start, and Dr. Giat, you have a motion at this time.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'll move that we uphold the superintendent's position on expulsion of the student in question.
Is there a second? Mr. Buttery, any more discussion on that? Okay, any public responses out there? Anything from AJC? At this time, let's vote. Let's vote by hand vote. And all those in favor of that motion, please. I will recuse myself. 14. 13. We have 13-0. And we have to return this. If that is the wishes of the board, then we will uphold the superintendent's recommendation. Thank you, Dr. Giat, for the motion. And if that is complete, we will, before we close out, I want to wish and make sure we recognize our mothers. Okay, that's important. Sunday will be Mother's Day, and hopefully everyone will recognize their respective mothers, wives, or well. Okay, that's said, Ms. Bourgeois?
And also to recognize, this is teacher appreciation week. We appreciate all of our employees. It takes a village, and everybody that comes into contact with the student is a teacher. So thank you to all of our employees for the job that they do so well.
And the amount of work that Mr. Dufresne and Ms. Bourgeois and Mrs. Petita did to make it
Yes,
happen.
absolutely.
I contributed about 15 minutes of it, and I was tired.
Thank y'all very
So,
much.
listen, before we do close, I want to thank the board for the professional way you handled this expulsion hearing. I appreciate that more than you know, and we'll proceed. If there's no other things that come in front of this board, this meeting is over. Thank you.